Brothers and sisters, today's readings present us with three individuals who are called by God to minister to his people. And in each case, the person called feels themselves unworthy to minister, unworthy to be called. We begin with the prophet Isaiah, who stands before the throne of God and knows his own sinfulness. He says he speaks with unworthy lips and speaks to a people with unworthy lips. And for them, for the understanding at the time, this would be death. To stand before God in sinfulness you could not do so. You could not bear to see the face of God in such a state. But an angel of the Lord goes to the altar, takes an ember, brings it and places it upon the lips of Isaiah, and he is purged of his sin and forgiven. Thank goodness we don't have that ritual in the sacrament of confession, right? Be a little bit difficult. In our second reading, St. Paul, who recounts Jesus' appearances, also says that he was the least of the apostles because he had persecuted the church. And in fact, he feels himself unworthy of the name apostle. But here again, God's grace gives him the strength to continue his ministry as one of the great missionaries of the church, one of the great preachers and teachers of the faith in the early days of the church. And then we have St. Peter in our gospel today. Jesus is preaching on the shores of Lake Gennesaret, and he asks Peter to take him out a ways in his boat so that he can better preach to the crowds. They were pressing in upon him. Peter does so, and then having heard Jesus speak, he hears Jesus tell him to put out into deep water and to throw his fishing net over the side. We can only imagine what Peter thought in that moment. Having heard Jesus, he would have concluded, well, this is a holy man. This is a man of God. But what does he know about fishing? I've been at it all day. I haven't caught anything. Fishing is my livelihood. But again, in great faith, Peter throws his net out into the sea. And understand, if he doesn't catch anything a second time, he has to clean the net again, which was a hard and arduous task. But he is blessed with a miracle, a catch of fish so great that he has to call a second boat over. And between the two of them, they nearly swamp, but they bring the fish ashore. And then we are told Peter falls at Jesus' feet, going down on his knees, and he says, "Leave me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." But Jesus looks at him and says, "Do not be afraid. From now on, you will be a fisher of men." And this is something important because it indicates that God is going to use the gifts and talents that we have, but repurpose them. Just as Paul, in his enthusiasm to persecute the church, is now given enthusiasm to spread the gospel. And Peter, whose gift was a catch of fish, will now be using those talents to catch people into the gospel, to bring them the good news. Now, we might also say that in each of these cases, the individuals who are called are known by God. He knows their gifts. He knows their talents. He knows their failings and their weaknesses. And yet he supplies for them what they need. Now, brothers and sisters, each and every one of us is called at baptism to exactly the same thing, to minister to God's people, to be of service to the body of Christ, to help build it up by contributing our own gifts and talents. But here's the thing, brothers and sisters, we as a parish at St. Angela Merici, we don't know those gifts and talents. And whereas we know the purpose is to help all of us get to heaven, we're not always certain what specific things we need to do to help that happen here in the parish dynamic. Unlike God, we don't have infinite knowledge. But we do have something. It's called technology. And I'm going to ask you to do something that you probably never thought you'd hear Father do in church. I'm going to ask you to take out your cell phones. And if you don't have one, that's okay. We're going to tell you how to do this another way. And we're also going to tell you, might want to catch up to the 21st century. No, I can't say that. I can't say that because my buddy Father Drew doesn't have a cell phone either. So, okay, what we have here is a survey that was developed by our pastoral council to ask important questions of you about our parish, about our ministries, and about your involvement in it. So what I want you to do is go to your texting app. Go to wherever you text, and you are going to type in the number 84576. So the number you're going to call is 84576. And now in the text line, I want you to text survey, S-U-R-V-E-Y, all in small letters. All right, and send. Now, you should have received another message with 2 links there. The first link is if you want to have the survey sent to you as an email. You can press that, give them the information they need, the email address and all, and have it sent to you as an email. So if you want to take your time and do it, more leisurely, that's fine. We're also going to give everybody the link to the email so that you can have it sent to you or do it online on your computer. All of this, by the way, is anonymous. All of this, by the way, is not a scam. We're not fishing for information. I know it's hard to trust me right now. Apparently, there's this new deal going out where people take a priest name and they start up an account on Gmail, and then they start sending out all kinds of phony stuff. But you're hearing this from the horse's mouth, so this is okay, all right? So now you're on, now the second link is the one that takes you to the survey page so that you can take the survey right there online. And as you go to that, you will see 12 questions. Each of those questions, again, is important for us to chart the future of our parish. So the first one, do you feel a sense of belonging and welcome at St. Angela Merici? Yes or no? And if you wish, you can elaborate in the box below. I have seen some of our young people on their cell phones, and their thumbs fly across that keyboard. It's like Flash looks like he's standing still compared to these people. But okay, even so, you can take your time if you want. So number 2, how do you find information about St. Angela Merici? This is very important for us to know how you are getting your information about the parish. And you'll see the different website, bulletin, emails, grapevine, mass announcements, social media, other. And if you want, you can say what you would find the most useful for you in terms of receiving information, current information from the parish. Number 3, are you involved in a ministry or volunteering in the parish? Yes or no? And again, if yes, please tell us why. Why is this ministry rewarding to you, fulfilling to you? We can use that to maybe entice other people to the ministry. Or tell us why not, why you're not involved. What is the obstacle? What keeps you from becoming involved in the parish? Number 4, what additional ministries or programs would you like to see offered at St. Angela Merici? So if there's something we're not providing that you believe we should, please let us know. Number 5, what do you like best about St. Angela Merici? So here again, just indicate what you find most appealing about our parish. Number 7, do you regularly attend religious services, or are you involved in religious ministries outside of St. Angela Merici? We know that as a relatively young parish, we were formed out of 5 other parishes. And so perhaps some of you still have ties to those parishes. That's fine. That's wonderful. But what is it that we can offer that they're offering that might help you, again, in making a commitment to our parish? Now, number 8 is, if St. Angela Merici offered a reasonably priced childcare service during church-sponsored events, would you utilize it? This is something the council is looking at. Having a very simple kind of babysitting service on the premises when we have specific events, so that we know we have a lot of families with young children. If one of the things that's preventing you from coming to a particular event or a particular organization is that, taking care of the kids, we have been in contact with some individuals who can help us set up a kind of child care here. And since you'll be on the premises and they'll be on the premises, it doesn't have to be licensed or anything. And you guys can, if anything were to happen, you could be right there to pick up your children. Number 9, how long have you been a parishioner at St. Angela Merici? I know we asked you to stand a couple of weeks ago. We didn't count you then, so this will help give us a better read on how long you've been in the parish. Number 10 is the most important for me. What talents or skills do you have to share? It can be occupations, it can be hobbies, it can be just things that you've learned or studied that you feel like you do well. And those can help us then gear ministries to those specific talents and gifts that are in our community. Without knowing that, oftentimes all we're doing is plugging people in to particular ministries that have a need, rather than creating ministries where everyone can give what they possess in terms of gifts and talents. And number 11, what additional comments would you like to share with the pastoral council? Open forum, tell us what you want or need. And number 12, as I said, it is anonymous. We don't have any data on you when you do this, but you can, if you wish, share with us your name and contact information. And that can be helpful for us too. All right. Someone yesterday said, does this mean we can always bring our phones to Mass, Father? And I answered, yes, it does mean you can always bring your phone to Mass, but you can only take it out when Father tells you to. So, again, baptismal call is one we have all received. And all of us have a need for ourselves and for our brothers and sisters to share in the ministry of the church. If one of the things that's keeping you from doing that is, I'm unworthy, well, the gospel and the readings today answer that question. God's mercy and forgiveness, God's grace, and even miracles are there for you if you give of yourself to God. But if it's something else, if it's something about timing, time, talent, treasure, scheduling, anything else, we want to know about it so that we as a parish can meet your needs and help you meet the needs of others.